started this gangster shit. Mr. Motherfucker, thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And this the motherfucker.
Hey, if you're enjoying this content but haven't yet subscribed, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Thank you. Hey, alright everyone, it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and my name is Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of this crazy, wacky comic book industry that's getting weirder and weirder. I am the world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man. Great big Star Wars fan. A couple of retailers sent me this pretty shocking Facebook post by a fellow named Dennis L. Barger Jr., who is a retailer himself, which means that he was at the Las Vegas Retailer Summit with Diamond. Diamond Distribution is the company that actually takes orders on behalf of retailers from the companies and then sees that the comics are shipped, distributed to all of the shops, all of the retailer establishments all over the country, I presume all over the world. And so Dennis L. Barger was there with many other industry people to hear about maybe the future, to make plans or whatever. It was a retailer summit, okay, summit meeting. And at this point, they might as well call it a retailer nadir. We are no longer at the summit. We've passed the summit. We're sliding downhill pretty quickly now. It's pretty sad. So, like I said, Dennis L. Barger just posted this today. It's his account of how he was assaulted at this convention, at this summit meeting, by none other than Mark Waid. Now, who's Mark Waid? Mark Waid is a formerly great comic book writer, and he is currently embroiled in a lawsuit with the amazing your boy Zach of Comics Matter, previously Diversity in Comics, also known as Richard C. Meyer, by the way, who is suing Mark. He's suing Mark for tortious interference and defamation. Why? Because Mark Waid decided that Richard C. Meyer didn't deserve to have a comic book published, and therefore he called up a publisher by the name of Antarctic Press, who had a contract with Richard C. Meyer to publish this smash hit book Jawbreakers. And Mark Waid subtly threatened this guy and said, "I can't stop the abuse that you're going to take if you go ahead and whatever it was that he said to this guy," and basically broke the contract. The guy got scared. He called Richard and said, I'm not used to handling this kind of abuse, this kind of harassment." And due to his anxiety, he canceled what would have probably been definitely have been a very profitable business interaction with Richard C. Meyer. For that, Richard C. Meyer is suing him. Mark Waid is doing everything he can to raise money to continue the lawsuit, to delay it so that it doesn't finally come before a judge, and Mark is going to lose, especially if this takes place in Texas, where it should take place. It's where Antarctic Press is located. That's where Richard C. Meyer is located. The laws about tortious interference couldn't be more clear, and Mark Waid was stupid enough to leave a paper trail. This temperamental, just toddler, has to be, I don't know, something has to happen, because at this point he's actually breaking the law, and he's throwing things at retailers at retail summits, which are supposed to be professional events. Now poor Dennis Barger, he wrote this for Facebook. I can feel his frustration at this point. He said, "I never had a chance to tell everyone about my Diamond Retailer Summit run-ins with the notorious tough guy, quote-unquote Mark Waid." Why is Mark Waid in quotes? First, I didn't even know he was coming to the event. As usual, Diamond doesn't bother finding out or telling retailers about these things. So when they announced Humanoids, which is where Mark Waid is currently squatting, he is the CCO, Chief Creative Officer of Humanoids. Mark Waid and some other exec was there. I was all ears. They had a presentation that was lackluster. Retailers were not impressed. He said, "Watch my video." Now, we had ordered Humanoids comics before, bought a healthy amount of their free comic book day offering this year, and it's definitely not a success. This is a retailer saying, look, what Mark Waid is offering through this company, it's not connecting. Maybe this is the source of Mark Waid's frustration. It's not connecting. People don't want it. People don't want what Mark Waid has at this point. So it's not a success in his store or any by my talks with other retailers, but I'm sure I'll listen to what they got. So Dennis is a retailer. His job is first and foremost to try to purchase product that he's going to be able to sell and make a profit from. Waid chimes on about all the really heavy SJW content they have coming up. It's mostly really laughable plots, stealing from the successful Black Mask, which is another publisher that publishes political comics, publisher model, which we do stock. He punctuates his presentation with a joking call to donate to his losing legal defense fund, which you can hear me cackle at the end of the video. So Dennis is like filming, and Mark Waid finishes up his presentation to these poor retailers and fellow publishers and professionals, and says, "Please, can you spare a dime, to keep me from debtor's prison when I get sued successfully by Richard C. Meyer. When Richard C. Meyer wins the case, please." And Dennis thought that was funny. It is funny. It seems like it's a little inappropriate. It seems like it's inappropriate to use that moment to actually panhandle because you don't want to have to pay the consequences for actually ruining some guy's life. And comics are Richard C. Meyer's life. This was his chance. Don't worry. I think Richard's still going to get another chance. Don't worry about it. So they end, and he walks up the stage. I turn off my recording, and as he's walking by, it's a shame that you didn't record this. As he's walking by, he points to me and tells the lady he's with, "See that guy? He's one of the garbage humans I was telling you about." Little Anita Sarkeesian there from Mark Waid. Garbage humans. This man's in his 50s. He's in his 50s. He steers clear of me. By the way, and I guess an admirer of Anita Sarkeesian, who's like a very young woman, also has temperament problems. He steers clear of me for most of the summit, and on the day we are to go around and talk to publishers to get their catalogs. So, they have booths, and you're supposed to go around and collect, retailers are supposed to collect the catalogs and the advertising info so that they know how to order, for the future. I work my way around to the Humanoids booth. As I walk up to Humanoids booth, Mark immediately says, picture this, "Go away, Dennis. You aren't welcome here." See? "Go away, Dennis. You aren't welcome here." Well, it's just funny. Like, it's like, here's the thing about Mark Waid. It's like, we've established who he is and his behavior, but it seems like the fact that most of his behavior has been made public, and he has been publicly shamed to the point where he is currently in the middle of getting his ass sued off. You would think that he might change his behavior, but he doesn't. He literally tells a retailer to go away as he's coming up trying to pick up the literature he'll need to support the company that Mark Waid is working for. He's promoting. He's there to promote. So he makes the shoo away gesture. "Go away, Dennis." So I laugh at him and say, "I'm a customer. I'm coming to check out your product." And the lady immediately stands next to Mark and remains silent. Mark's got a bodyguard. Mark just continues, "Go away, Dennis. We don't want your business. You're not even a real comic shop anymore." This is just not... Mark, it's not your business. It's Humanoids. It's Humanoids' business. You can't speak on behalf of that company. Of course, they want everyone's business. If they're a normal company, they want everyone's business. Just because you've changed the content of Humanoids' product to be proudly SJW doesn't mean that the company is going to submit to your ideas of anti-capitalism and gatekeeping and all of this oddness. You should be trying to get Dennis's money. So Mark, he said, I laugh at him and talk directly to the lady in hopes that she has sense. He says, "So I'm being denied the preview of your comics?" Mark reaches over, picks up a free comic book day comic and throws it at me. Ouch! Ow! Throws a comic book. Ow! I hope Dennis is okay. This is assault. This is assault. He says, "You can have this." Dennis bats it away from himself, and he says, "Are you crazy throwing a comic book at me? And besides, I already have those. I ordered them because I am a customer. I'm a customer." Looking directly at the lady, I say, "Are you going to let your employees treat a customer like that?" And they don't even know what to do. I guess they have to stand up. This lady has to stand up for Mark Waid. It's so embarrassing. And it's really embarrassing. She says, "Well, I've known Mark a long time. I'll take his word for it." So I reply, "Well, then you've lost a customer forever until you get rid of this hack fraud." And I don't think that hack fraud I mean, that's true. Don't get me wrong. It's true. But it's not the important thing here. The important thing is that he's a temperamental man baby who throws things. He's in his 50s and he throws things at adults. Imagine that. Imagine Mark Waid throwing a comic book at you. So yeah, the reason I won't be ordering anything Humanoids puts out from here on in is because of the way its employee Mark Waid and whoever the lady exec was with him treated me at the Diamond Retailer Summit in Las Vegas 2019. Now, I heard from a couple of sources that someone very, very high up in Diamond, okay, had to take Mark Waid aside and tell him to knock it off. Now, I can't confirm that. I also heard that Mark Waid went, "Okay, sir." Now, if that's true, good. It's good for everyone. It's good. If that's true, it's good for the entire industry that somebody was brave enough to take Mark Waid aside and tell him to stop his infantile, destructive, and extremely overblown, overwrought, emotional, unmanly behavior. You have to. We're trying to make money. We're trying to make the comic book industry grow. And, you know, at this point, this is not the way. Humanoids comics are not going to make $840,000 on a single issue the way Cyberfrog Bloodhoney did. So not like this. Not like this. Now, you know, even at this point, other professionals are hearing about this. Dennis is telling people, here's Rob Liefeld. Wow, sorry to hear that. And Dennis Barger's like, IKR. I know, right? At this point, again, this is a retailer who's going to spread the word about Mark Waid's incredibly hostile behavior at a professional summit meeting. And perhaps more people are not going to order Humanoids comics because Mark Waid throws them at people. Humanoids comics at this point are now going to be seen as assault weapons rather than fun, light-hearted entertainment that people might want to spend how much, $5 on? And no, they're garbage to be thrown at people. Evidently, people you don't like. So. This isn't the first time Dennis Barger. This is Dennis Barger. He's just a regular guy, retailer here. He wears his hat backwards, or at least he did in 2014 when this article was written. Dennis Barger had to step in and stop Mark Waid from once again callously causing damage. He's a hurricane, just a tornado blowing through the comic book industry, just destroying everything in his wake. And Dennis had to stand up to him and say, "Mark, stop it." Mark Waid has a comic shop called Alter Ego, and he had, apparently, this is in 2014, he'd invited Scott Snyder out to do a signing there to coincide with DC's Future's End event. And, Scott Snyder, big booster of DC, appeared there and did the signing, and the minute he left, apparently Mark Waid went on Twitter and started bashing Future's End. Started bashing this DC event and saying it was the new 52st thing ever or something like that, which of course the creative teams involved with this comic immediately recognized as an insult. Dennis Barger had to stand up to him and say, "Look, you are completely unprofessional. How can you sell out other professionals who have worked on this project the way that you are? That you've got to stop running your mouth." And again, this is what I believe was told to Mark Waid by someone high up at Diamond. Again, it could be wrong. That's alleged. Somebody took him aside and said, "Mark, you've got to knock it off." Do you understand? And from what I understand, they came down and whispered in his ear like this: "Hey, Mark, you're going to have to knock off your social media behavior, okay? Some of the fights that you're getting into on social media, embarrassing. Knock it off." And Mark Waid went, "Yes, sir." That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. So, again, cheers for Dennis. Dennis, Mr. Barger, you're a retailer. I hope you will eventually stock Cyberfrog when it comes out through the direct market. Appreciate it. I'm not going to throw anything at you. If you want information, I will hand it to you like a gentleman. And I'm proud that the comic book industry contains retailers and like you, and sad that you also have to perform a dual function as a babysitter and receptacle for abuse by crazy people like this. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit like, please share. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Is this appropriate? Is this weird? You get comic books thrown at you by Mark Waid at a retailer summit, no less. Let me know what you think about this and what the industry I don't know what their response should be in general. Please subscribe to this channel as well. Thank you very much. I'll see you again with another Captain Marvel video. We'll get back to the Brie Larson videos. Bye-bye. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Hello, potential Indiegogo backers. Hello, friends. My name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a comic book creator who worked for 20 years for Marvel and DC Comics on books like Green Lantern, Flash, Superman, Batman, and X-Men. But before that, I had a comic book called Cyberfrog. Now, Cyberfrog lasted from 1993 to 1998, and then it stopped when I went to go work for DC Comics. Now I want to tell the story of where Cyberfrog has been for the last 20 years. I want to write, pencil, ink a book called Cyberfrog Blood Honey that tells the story of gigantic alien hornets that come to Earth and conquer it, sending Cyberfrog into deep hibernation, where he emerges now in the year 2018 into a completely alternate reality, a new world where these hornets have taken over, devastated humanity, using human skin to make gigantic wasp hives, and harvesting human blood to make honey to feed their young. Very few humans still exist. But it's up to Cyberfrog to save what's left of humanity and turn back the damage that's been done by these wasps with his brother Salamandroid and his friend Heather Swain. I want you to help me do this. We're going to get colors by Kyle Ritter. He's a fantastic colorist, and he's going to make this book sing. I'd like this to be a 48-page one-shot prestige format, part 1 of 4. So I'm asking you to help me launch the very first Cyberfrog Blood Honey epic graphic novel. Are you in? Will you help me? I hope so. Let's get this frog jumping again. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the laughing man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.